Hey guys, this is Wildcat Chris Harris, TNA original and one half of 6-time TNA World Tag Team Champions, America's Most Wanted. You are listening to the TNA Cross the Line podcast.
TNA Wrestling, Cross the Line.
And we're back with episode 293 of the TNA Cross the Line podcast. I am Bob Colling Jr. With me, as always, is Dallas Gridley. In Dallas, tonight we have quite the show. Because for the first time ever in a singles match, we're getting Kurt Angle against Sting. And there is a stipulation to it. It's for the number one contendership to the NWA World Championship, which of course is currently held by Christian Cage. I'm going to say it's safe to say that Sting versus Kurt Angle is the biggest match in Impact history. Is that a fair thing to suggest?
I kind of think that is accurate. I mean, that is a huge match to have on Impact.
I can't even think of anything else that comes close to it.
Yeah, off the top of my head. I mean, not with the name value those two have. I mean, that's yeah.
I mean, so like LAX and Daniels and Styles had a pretty big match, but they're not at the level of
but
what Sting and Kurt represent in wrestling.
Advertising wise,
yeah,
Sting and Kurt is like, oh, we don't know. I mean, the match could suck. I mean, we don't know that.
We haven't watched it.
But on paper, holy shit, Sting versus Kurt Angle is insane. On free TV, we're trying to pop those ratings, baby. We're heading into Sacrifice. We got to get these ratings up.
I don't even know who would go over. There's no way in hell we're getting a clean finish. I'll tell you that right.
There's no way, right?
There's no way.
I'd be shocked.
Like, I'm trying to picture it in my head, like the Scorpion Death Drop or something, and Kurt is pinned, or Sting taps to the ankle lock. Like, I don't see it happening. They probably know that.
Right.
So, but who out of the two, Stinger or Kurt, who would you want to see challenge Christian Cage for the NWA World title?
Well, I feel like your gut says Kurt Angle, because you're probably going to get a better match out of it. However, Sting still has not gotten his revenge from Christian Cage turning on him. So I want to see Sting and Christian Cage.
That's exactly why I'm saying the same thing. He's got to get his revenge for Hard Justice.
He never got it, ever.
Freaking guitar shot.
And realistically, right now, well, it's supposed to be Sting got it from Lockdown. He got the pin in Lethal Lockdown. Now they've kind of been like, whoa, hang on a second.
They're like pivoting away from it already, potentially.
Right. So it's a weird situation, but it is building some intrigue as we head into Sacrifice. Who is going to challenge NWA champion Christian Cage? Arguably on a pretty dang good run as champion right now. I think better than his first run.
Absolutely, but absolutely better than his first run.
Oh, it's pretty interesting. And I think it's going to be quite telling on this episode, the direction that we're going to go in. But honestly, that's a weird thing too, Bob, is literally they could do whatever they want today, and then on next week's episode, it could be different again. Who knows?
Well, and a prime example of that is when the babyface team for Lethal Lockdown got the advantage, and then on the pre-show of Lockdown, which we did not watch, nor did we know anything happening on there,
Right.
they switched it to the heels because of a reverse decision that we did not know about, and we had to read up on it because it made no sense why the heels were coming out first.
Right. That was very confusing. Well, I guess time will tell. But before that, actually, let's do a quick rundown of our last episode of Impact. I got that over here. The April 19th, 2007 edition. We saw a four-way match where Christopher Daniels defeated AJ Styles, Rhino, and Samoa Joe in 4 minutes. Then we saw Robert Roode defeat Chris Harris in 2 minutes and 35 seconds in a match that he technically probably should not have had, since he technically is still wearing an eye patch, and that's why Jim Cornette wouldn't let him have a regular match at Lockdown. But it does not matter. We're on TV.
We don't worry about continuity.
No.
Don't worry about that.
Eric Young and Ms. Brooks was ringside in that match as well. And then in the main event, the World Tag Team titles were on the line, and Christian said, "Listen, I want the gold sucker." And he teamed up with the Monster Abyss. And unfortunately, they lost in 5 minutes, 30 seconds to Team 3D. So a bunch of stuff's going down. And now we get Sting versus Kurt Angle on today's episode.
Well, I want to point out, too, Daniels winning that 4-way was a massive surprise. I mean, of course, he pinned Rhino because Rhino doesn't win pretty much ever. And it is important to remember here that Daniels has been wearing a Sting mask and using a bat lately. Mm-hmm. So, and I believe it was in the Observer notes that they're going to, kind of maybe transition towards that, which now has me thinking he's going to fuck over Sting tonight.
Oh.
So that might be.
Okay. Another thing that happened, too, I believe Jeff Jarrett kicked off the show. Angle confronted him and was mad that he allowed Sting to get the win in Lethal Lockdown. That's kind of how we ended up toward the match that we're dealing with today.
Now, also tonight, I forgot to mention this, but you had just said his name a couple of minutes ago. Eric Young is going to, reveal his friend.
That's right. We need to find out who his friend is, or he's going to get fired.
Right.
That's right. I wonder who it's going to be. My gut says Scott D'Amore.
No way.
It feels like almost a lame friend to bring in, but honestly, they're with a crowd who knows who that is. So even though it's been a while, it could still get over decently.
I feel like that's just not. I feel like D'Amore would side with Roode.
Well, maybe that'll happen.
He'll bring in his friend who's in this and
then he'll turn on him.
Oh my god!
It's either that or it got to be something like that, or his friend's got to be like Shark Boy. And I say that because we either need to go comedic or we need to go something that people are going to know.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. That would make sense.
We'll see what happens. We'll get there.
Comedic for sure.
I have a few notes that we're going to go through, and then after I do that, we will talk briefly about a house show. Bob will cover it, and I have some notes that can kind of go along with that as well. And then we'll get into the show with more notes and lots of fun like that. So it should be a good old time, as always.
Yay.
Yay. We're going to start off with some news about Jeff Jarrett and the situation with his wife, Jill, at the time. And this is from the April 30th, 2007 Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave says, the situation with Jeff Jarrett's wife, Jill, is largely being kept under wraps, as we really don't know a lot other than that she suffered a collapsed lung a few weeks ago. But Jeff came to the pay-per-view in St. Louis late and left immediately after the show to return to Nashville, as opposed to going right to Orlando with everyone else. He got into Orlando just before the taping started. He did his angle for week 2, so spoiler, we're going to see Jeff Jarrett. And then he taped early in the night out of sequence so that he could fly back to Nashville that night. So he did his stuff. He left a little bit early. They taped out of order to accommodate for that. There was a backup plan in effect for the pay-per-view in case Jarrett couldn't end up coming. I don't know if it says here, though. I don't think it does. The creative meetings have been Dutch Mantel and Vince Russo, with Scott D'Amore and Mike Tenay involved in feedback and editing. Jeff Jarrett is still involved, but over the past few weeks, his priorities are understandably elsewhere.
Right. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Right. I would have to assume the other plan would be they would just say he was attacked or something and then be down a man. That's my guess, but. Or do you think they'd fill the spot with someone?
I think they would fill the spot with somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know like who though.
Well, right, that's the tough part.
But I think they'd fill it.
We actually have a couple follow-ups here about the pay-per-view. Actually, a lot. It looks like a lot of this is. Internally, because the pay-per-view was such a roller coaster of high ups and downs, there wasn't much dispute as the idea of the first and last match were strong, and the two bad gimmick matches were kind of disasters. The blindfold match was a bad idea, particularly since TNA had done one before when Dusty Rhodes was booking, which, if you remember, we did talk about this, was Dustin Rhodes versus Bobby Roode, and that also didn't work. Now, technically, that was in like the, what did they call it? It was the Prince of Darkness, and it was like a 3-stage match or something.
Yeah.
The blame for the two matches sucking, as far as the gimmick aspect, with the hoods falling off and the special effects being a flop, was said to be a combination of Jarrett not having time to be hands-on because of him being with his wife at all times, and Don Harris no longer being with the company. So apparently he's gone. Now, yeah, and you're going to be like, well, what the heck does that mean? Well, when it comes to special effects, Harris in particular would work with the people setting up the stunts as the liaison as to how it would work in wrestling. And his absence was felt in the electrified cage deal not being tested out by someone who would understand how fans would react.
I don't know if I trust Don to know how fans would react.
Well, he apparently was the liaison.
Isn't he the Harris that had that shirt?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Well, he's not here anymore.
Well, it's about 5 years too late.
That might be true. There was also a lot of complaints regarding the cage. They have a 6 sides of steel cage in both Orlando and Nashville, but the decision was made to not bring either cage in and build a new one for St. Louis. There were problems since it had a minor league look. There was a problem with in the ring that it broke the night before, and the wrestlers were told spots in the ring to avoid. So apparently they were wrestling on a broken ring and had a shitty cage. So kind of
now, if in case this is their first episode listening to or anything, the cage. Well, I guess you probably maybe wouldn't know this, but the cage is very similar to the cage that was used at Ring of Honor in Combat Zone's Cage of Death in 2006. It might be the same type of cage that Combat Zone uses in general for their Cage of Death. So they don't typically use the traditional cage. It's more like
it's made out of like wire.
It's a wire, right? Not a cage, not like a steel cage. It's just like
It's not like
wire.
fence. It's wire.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I would definitely say it looks minor league comparatively.
Absolutely. You'll also be glad to know that owner Bob Carter was at the pay-per-view show backstage. So that's just a little tidbit. There's literally no other thing here, but now this next note is pretty interesting. Actually, I'm going to go out of order. I changed my mind. You got to wait 2 seconds for that one. Actually, screw it. I'm just going to do it. I already teased it. Austin Starr has been suspended for 90 days, which at this point in time is going to be ending July 17th. Now, on April 16th, which was the day between the pay-per-view and the TV taping, he was asked to come to the studio in Orlando as they wanted to film some vignettes ahead of time. He'd gotten a timeshare for what he thought was a vacation day on the weekend of his birthday. He asked why he couldn't do it the next day at TV since they were going to be there all day, since that was his day off. The feeling was they wrote vignettes to get him over, and the writing team worked all day on TV on their day off, and Bob Backlund, who was apparently going to be in the vignettes, had no problem. Starr eventually agreed that he would come in and film it. But by that point, they were mad at his attitude, so the vignettes were pulled. He was pulled from TV tapings, and then he was suspended. This is his second suspension. Now, interestingly enough, they say here in the notes that whether he'll be brought back or pushed after the suspension is unknown. He has a 1-year contract with 2 option years. The first year ends about the time the suspension ends. It is TNA's prerogative if they want to renew him for the next year, and there is a current mood negative toward bringing him back. During this year, he had asked for a release and was told they wanted to keep him, so it wasn't granted. He will continue to work all his indie bookings after the ROH shows in Japan. He had gotten permission from TNA to work a short tour of Dragon Gate, even though it would have meant him missing a pay-per-view. There's nothing to the story that he was suspended, got in trouble, or anything regarding wearing an ROH t-shirt at the Fan Fest. So apparently that must have been a rumor, because those close to him say that he denied that he even wore an ROH t-shirt at the Fan Fest in the first place and didn't know how that story got started. Now, we mentioned it I think was on the pay-per-view itself. We don't see him again in our timeline.
Correct.
So it does appear they are not renewing his deal.
So that kind of baffles me. So he had a timeshare?
Yeah, he got a timeshare for his birthday, so he
for his birthday.
Yeah.
And it was an off day.
Yes.
And they asked him to work on his off day.
Yep, and then he finally gave in, but then they didn't like how his attitude was, so they said, "Screw it."
I don't like that, dude.
It's kind of dirty.
That's fucked up. It's his off day. There should be no legal. I mean, there should not be an expectation. You don't like his attitude. You're asking the guy to work on his day off, and I understand, writers or whatever. Bob Backlund, like, what is he even up to anyway? Austin Aries or Austin Starr is wrestling probably several times on any given weekend. The guy wants to take a day off for his birthday and enjoy a timeshare.
Mm-hmm.
And then he eventually is like, okay, I'll come in. And then you're like, well, now that we got you here, you should have just done it instantly. So we're gonna have to suspend you. Like, so he probably cut short his fucking timeshare, and then gets suspended from his job.
Yeah, it's pretty.
No, dude, no. I don't like that. Doesn't fly with me. That's just bad.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's it for him for now.
You know what? It might be better off for him anyway, because the stuff with Senshi was kind of annoying. And
dude, it was so dragged out.
Yeah, the stuff with Backlund too. But that means we don't get a blow off with Backlund.
It's true. We don't get that blow off.
Yeah.
Oh well. I have one final note before we get into the house show notes that Bob will kick us off with, and I'll do a little follow-up with, and then we'll get into the episode of Impact today. It's just noted that Jim Cornette was the agent in charge of the Jackie Moore versus Gail Kim match and the blindfold match. He was in a celebratory mood after the women's match ended, but clearly that didn't last long. Bob Ryder had the line of the night after the blindfold match where he suggested, completely jokingly, that to make it complete, they should announce on the pay-per-view that coming up on this week's Impact, there's a rematch of Harris vs. Storm in another blindfold match. Only this time, the fans will be the ones given the blindfolds.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's so shitty.
That's fucked up.
We need a rematch that's not blindfolds.
No, right. That's
Crazy.
funny though. But only the fans are wearing them.
Bob Ryder being a smartass at the pay-per-view.
That's funny. Why wasn't he suspended for his attitude?
That's true. That's a good point.
Interesting.
Okay, Bob, if you want to lead us in house show note.
Yeah, don't mind if I do here. So the house show took place on April 20th in Louisville, Kentucky at the Louisville Gardens. According to Cage Match, the approximate attendance is 1,500. And here are the results of the event. Petey Williams teamed up with Sonjay Dutt to defeat Eric Young and Robert Roode. Christopher Daniels defeated Senshi. LAX defeated the Naturals. Rhino. Whoa, okay. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, this makes sense. We're in Louisville. Rhino defeated Basham in a street fight with Damaja in Basham's corner.
I hate the name Damaja.
I don't hate it.
I hate that.
I'm going to damage you. Come on.
That might make it worse.
No, come on, dude. It's a play on words. Damage. I like it. Anyway, mixed tag match. Chris Harris and Gail Kim defeated Jackie Moore and James Storm. Samoa Joe defeated AJ Styles. And in the main event, the NWA World Champion, Christian Cage, defeated Kurt Angle to retain the title.
Very exciting.
I'm surprised that only got 1,500. That's not a bad card.
I do have that same number as well, 1,500.
Okay.
It's also noted on my here that Cornette promoted the show, and it was overall a good show. It's noted that the weakest matches were mixed between the Harris and Kim going over Storm and Jackie Moore, and the Street Fight Handicap. Well, he calls it a Street Fight Handicap match, but it's listed on Cage Match. It's just Rhino and Basham. Oh, so
yeah, it's not. Yeah.
But he does note Doug Basham and the Damager. That's what he has written here.
Damager. Now, just full context. I mean, they haven't debuted or anything, but OVW takes place in that area, Louisville. Right. So that's Basham and Damager got most of their success previously is in OVW.
There you go. And I think we noted last week they were backstage at the pay-per-view as well, so it's all adding up. Of course, shouldn't be a surprise, but LAX were super over as baby faces. And then Dave even says,
really? In Louisville?
Yeah, although that would be no shock when you consider their opponents were the Naturals. So he says it's funny how the Naturals get on all these house shows, even though they were never on television. And apparently they got no reaction when they came out. Cornette also,
their act is over. It's done.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately. Yeah. Cornette also cut a promo during the show, putting over the legacy of wrestling at the Louisville Gardens. Talks about USWA, OVW shows, all those sorts of things. He said that there would be another show before the year was out and talked about possibly having a pay-per-view. He then interviewed Eric Young and asked who his special friend was. Roode and Brooks came out and attacked Young until Jarrett made the save, hitting Roode with a guitar just as Roode went to hit Young with a chair. This was Jarrett's only appearance on the show. So you just made a quick run out and left. The main event was Christian over Angle. We already talked about that. The crowd was split during this. Dave notes it was a good match. Usual WWE finish style with the rough bump and Angle getting Christian in the ankle lock, and he was tapping. Styles interfered to cost Angle the match and double teamed him with Christian post match. Abyss, who was announced as injured earlier in the show, made the save. It's noted that the best match was Joe pinning Styles after the Muscle Buster in a great bout. The crowd cheered Styles before the match, but booed him during the entire match and cheered him again after the match was over. And Joe was the most popular wrestler on the show. So, pretty positive overall, honestly, it sounds, which is great.
Is Meltzer, or is maybe not just Meltzer, but is it suggested by the Cornette thing that Jarrett's the friend?
I don't know. I don't know if that was just like a let's get Jarrett on the show kind of thing, or.
I mean, it would make sense.
It doesn't make any note, although they did have some connections before, didn't they? Remember, Jarrett was like, they were always going back and forth.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
And Jarrett kind of started the whole like fired, like, okay, don't get him fired. Whatever.
That's true. Feels a little weird, but it definitely has a connection.
I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. Guess we'll find out here very soon. I don't know. But yeah, pretty solid stuff.
Is that all our notes? Is that time for the show?
It's time for the show, man. I got plenty to talk about during the show, so I'll probably be spitfiring. But yeah, we can get ready and get into this.
Okay. There are a decent amount of indie notes as well.
Like a lot. Like, should I could do a couple notes?
I mean, I don't really know if I would consider it a lot. Okay. I mean, I go through them pretty quick anyway.
Okay. Then we're going to hold the notes for the show.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a lot. I mean, there's several guys that have them, but it's not like, oh, this guy has 17 matches or something.
If we have overflow, guys, don't you worry. You're not going to miss any of the fluff.
I'll be fine, yeah. There's no filler here. We're all killer.
That's right. Okay.
All right. It's time to get into the April 26, 2007 edition of TNA Impact. The approximate runtime is 42 minutes and 5 seconds. If you want to watch along with us, head over to the TNA Plus app, or you can find it in your own personal collection. I'm going to count down from 3. And when I say play, that is when we're going to start the show. And you can watch along with us. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Well, mine's very loud. Let me turn that down. TNA, we are wrestling.
Now, did we forget also that Abyss got like bloodied real bad?
Oh, yes, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat the shit.
Because when you mentioned Abyss, I was like, oh shit, I'm pretty sure he got like almost murdered.
I might even have a freaking note about that.
Which would have been the day, in terms of like how it's aired. That house show was the day after that aired on TV. That he was.
Oh, that makes more sense. Well, I mean, Alvarez has a note that regarding Abyss, the belief from others in TNA is that he's cut himself falling on tax, etc. so many times that the company now takes advantage of him. And if he were to say no to anything, he'd get heat. I don't know
Are you shitting me? If he said no, he'd get hit. Well, he's speculating.
He's speculating.
Yeah, okay.
I think Abyss is doing it to help get things over. I don't know. Oh, that's gross. They're showing the arms.
Yeah, this is disgusting.
Honestly, Abyss switching to that red mask, specifically for this segment, really helped. Yeah. It made him look even bloodier. Not that he needed to look more bloody, but...
No.
Well, we're going through our intro video now after our highlights from last week. Let's see what we kick off with. A beautiful shot of the impact zone. Yes, Eric Young's 7-day deadline is up. Will he reveal the identity of his friend? Plus Team 3D. Defend titles against Steiner and Tomko. And Kurt Angle versus Sting. We got a big show tonight, Bob.
This is a big show.
We got title match, a number 1 contender, first time ever match. Eric Young's reveal. I think we're popping a rating here, dude. A rating. We're fucking starting with Sting versus Kurt.
What are we doing? They're doing this because to get most eyes on it. That has to be why.
Yep. We're getting that lead in. Oh, Sting's coming out with less than 3 minutes into the show.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's only an hour show. I mean, you might as well, if you front load it, whatever.
Well, and then if you end with a tag team title match, who cares? That's
Or Eric's reveal of whoever his friend is.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really great point. I believe there's still a puddle of Abyss's blood in the ring.
That's not a puddle. That is basically a river.
There's a lot.
Yeah. That kind of tells you about the taping aspect of the show.
Ain't that the truth? They didn't even change the map.
Yeah.
Now, I'm waiting for a little bit, because I think I mentioned briefly last week, explosion tapings during this episode are a little weird. They usually tape them at the end. That's not quite how they did it. I'm going to hold out before I say any more.
They did like during the shows?
Essentially. Yeah, essentially. Here comes Kurt. Sting was in the right place at the right time, is what Jarrett claimed. I don't think that's accurate, but Kurt isn't mad about it.
Yeah. Well, Kurt only cares about himself. And in the world of wrestling, that's fine.
That's true.
You should only care about yourself.
First time ever, Sting and Kurt locking up. The lighting is... Okay, I think... Did they fix it? Lighting? No.
It's way darker. Wait.
This side's good. Okay, we fixed it.
Are you sure?
Lighting. Yeah.
No, dude, the far right side right there is still darker, I think.
Yeah, but in the ring, it's a little bit better. You think where Rudy was just standing? Oh, no, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. It's still so dark on that side.
Stinger splashed to the back of Angle, his chest first into the turnbuckle, and he kicked the bottom of the leg. Going for the Scorpion Death Drop, but Angle almost just got the ankle lock in. Now, Bob, I'm going to take a wild guess. You do not have indie notes for this match, right?
Correct. I do not.
Let me see if I can get if I got anything that's related to these guys I can mention here. Well, it's not really related to them, but although there are a lot of rumors going around, there is nothing really new to report on the television situation. They've been talking to Spike about a 2-hour show seemingly forever, but there is still no deal in place. As Kurt gives a nasty uppercut to Sting. Irish whip, Sting counters, comes back, gets a hit with a clothesline, falls into the puddle of Abyss's blood. Okay, coming off the ropes again. Oh, overhead belly-to-belly suplex to Sting. Let's see. Here's another one as we show a TNA Rock sign in the crowd. The morale remains bad about most of the crew, which dates back to pulling of the company paying for hotel rooms and transportation while they are in Orlando. The feeling is that the top guys have it in their contracts, and even if not, they can afford it. But with the bottom guys making $300 to $500 per television show appearance, that cuts into their pay a lot. They were told the WWE doesn't do it for their wrestlers, but the argument is that the WWE wrestlers also earn a whole lot more.
How much is a hotel room?
In this time, I don't know how to figure that out properly. Oh no, Sting getting thrown into the wall, and look at that sacrifice poster with a bloody handprint, and it looks like it's Christian. I think I saw Tomko on it. Oh, speak of the devils.
What the fuck?
Here comes Tomko, Cage, and Styles, and Scott Steiner. The bell just rang.
Okay. Anyway, I think I've said it. Oh, this is great. Kurt Angle's went fucking face first into the ring stuff. I still think that the wrestling company should definitely pay for the hotel room. I mean, indie companies pay for hotel rooms for their stars. Like, come on, give me a break.
Right.
Is Kurt? No.
Kurt is in the ring getting beat up by.
Is he busted open?
No, it doesn't look like yet, but he's probably about to be. Steiner recliner applied to Sting on the outside. Christian holds up a chair, wails on Kurt Angle's head. Him and Tomko and Styles. Yeah,
Raven would call him a bitch for that.
Hey, you leave him alone. There you go. He's
definitely
busted.
bleeding.
Now he is.
He's definitely busted.
Holding him against the turnbuckle, and Christian's in the ring with that chair still.
Oh.
Do it again. Tomko's yelling at him as him and Styles holding the arms.
Jesus.
Chair shot after chair shot.
What is he? Oh, a lifting DDT onto the chair by Christian.
The execution.
I mean, yeah, technically. That would be the execution.
I'm kind of surprised Christian didn't start doing that randomly.
Sting making the save of the chair. Because you know what? He respects Kurt. He may have been in the right place at the right time. But he still respects.
Oh, shit.
No, bro,
Sting just chucked the chair at Christian.
That's not safe.
No.
To have done that. He could have clipped the fan. Now he's checking on the bloodied Kurt. The Lethal Lockdown team up there. Just hanging out on the entrance.
We need somebody out here. We need some help for Kurt Angle.
So we get Andrew Thomas, who's not a doctor. So.
Well, we're back from the break, and we're seeing that he was stretchered out during the commercial by the referees, not by medical staff.
Yeah, that's all sort of lawsuits waiting to happen.
Oh,
I thought they were going to say Don West was like fired or something.
Well, he's been called away from the table by Jim Cornette, so Mike Tenay's alone at the table.
I think Kurt did a blade job from the ring steps.
I don't think he was bleeding before that, dude.
I don't know.
I think he bladed when you were like, is he bleeding? I don't think he was yet, but I think he was about to do it because he knew the chair shot was coming.
Okay.
JB interviewing Christian backstage. He's like, so mission accomplished? And he said, what do you mean mission accomplished? Kurt Angle trying to buck the system? Damn. Shark Boy. Sanjay Dutt.
What Shark Boy?
What about the phenomenal AJ Styles? AJ's like, yeah, I'm into it. There's no more second chances around here. It's just me and Sting. One-on-one is sacrifice. Jim Cornette got one over on me with the stipulation knockdown. So he's...
So it's a no
Sting.
contest then.
Right. Sounds like it. So Sting still gets his second chance at the title here. There will not be a third when he walks out as the NWA champion.
Well, hang on a minute. He said there's no second chances, and then Sting's getting a second chance.
No, he said that I think he means that there's not a third chance. Oh, wait, down west. Don't shoot the messenger here. But Jim Cornette just called during the break. He said we will be defending your title against Sting, but not at sacrifice. But it's tonight, Bob.
What?
It's in 30 minutes.
No, there's something going on. There's no fucking shot.
If anyone from Team Cage interferes, he's disqualified, and Sting's the new champion.
Now that is a rule. Interference, that's true. DQs, that's true. No way. I'm putting no shot. There's no way. Kurt's coming back.
Even more shocking than that, we're cutting to the ring. There's a bunch of X-Division guys in the ring, and here comes Serotonin to get in the non-jobber entrance. Oh, specifically Kaz.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Wait.
Hell is he
Rules of the match. Winners move on to the 3-way X title match against Sabin at Sacrifice. This is a suicide stampede. You cannot tag in your own partner, so they're not real teams.
So how many winners are there?
That's a good question.
Oh, wait. So
who do we got in this match?
I'm so confused. So it looks like it's Lethal and Dutt are a team. Shelly and Kaz, Senshi and Shark Boy, and then Jerry Lynn and Petey Williams.
Fascinating.
So so whichever team wins will then Russell Sabin in a triple threat at the pay-per-view?
Correct. So looking at those teams, who do you think is going to end up winning? And Sabin is watching.
I don't fucking know, Dallas. I'm going to say...
I have mine.
I would think Lethal and Dutt, maybe?
Oh, see, that makes sense. I was thinking it's going to be Lynn and Petey. But I think you're right, actually.
Lynn and Petey would make sense, too.
Well,
not Shelly and Kaz or Senshi and Shark Boy. I don't think any of that.
No. The partners.
Oh, I haven't
tried to pin each other.
Fucking match.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do. Jay Lethal.
Whoa!
On April 20. No, I'm trying to.
I know, but he just had slingshot into the ring into a hurricane round.
I'm putting the show over your face. That way I can still do this.
I mean,
I don't need to look at you. All right, April 21st. Well, this is a double shot on the same day. So on the same day, Jay Lethal retained the big time wrestling heavyweight title by defeating Christopher Daniels in Framingham, Massachusetts. And then I'm assuming later in the day, Lethal lost a tables, ladders, and chairs match to the Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Champion Xavier in Bristol, Connecticut. Alex Shelley on April 21st lost to Joey Matthews at Maryland Championship Wrestling's aggravated assault in Bel Air, Maryland. And on April 24th, Alex Shelley lost to Rhino at TWE in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Senshi on April 21st retained the Jersey All-Pro Heavyweight Championship by defeating, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, defeating Samoa Joe at Jersey All-Pro Spring Massacre 2 in Rahway, New Jersey. And on April 22nd, Low-Key, also known as Senshi, defeated Hot Stuff Hernandez at IWA Mid-South Sunday Bloody Sunday in San Antonio, Texas. That was a joint production with a promotion known as ACW, as Senshi there just dive off the top rope onto freaking everyone. Jerry Lynn. Well, he was involved in some UWF shows. On April 20th, what in the world? April 20th, Jerry Lynn teamed with Amy Dumas to defeat Austin Starr and Christy Hemme Lethal just pinned.
He sure did.
Yeah.
And before that, there was a lot of action. There was a middle rope leg drop. There's dives to the floor, and that's right. Lethal just hit that elbow on Kaz and got the win.
Your usual fun. Kevin Nash coming in. April 21st, Jerry Lynn defeated Austin Starr for UWF in Harrisonburg, Virginia. That match apparently went 20 minutes, so that was probably pretty good. And that's all your indie notes for that match.
Look, Nash is trying to lift the arms of both Lethal and Dutt was like, nah, and he pulled away.
Yeah, why is Dutt being a little whiner?
JB's backstage in a green lit room with a flashing strobe light.
Is that like an ambulance light?
That's a good question. No, it's just for Sting.
I don't like that.
It's spooky, dude. Last week, me and Kurt Angle didn't see eye to eye. But tonight we came here to settle it. I didn't want to get my title shot this way, Cage. I'm going to take that chance. You and me one-on-one tonight. Christian Cage in his prime, the world champion. He's fighting Stinger. Don't you get it? Man, it's what's on the inside. It's going to be showtime.
Sting's hanging out with Samoa Joe too much. He's always angry.
Right. I have a note for some people in that match that we just saw, and that is that Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley will apparently be getting a push based on their teamwork at the pay-per-view. So we should see them teaming up more often. We're seeing the Roode versus Young segment now.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be finding out who his friend is. I'm thinking it's Jeff. I wasn't thinking that before that house show thing, but.
Well, you know who it's not, Bob. It's Tammy Sitch, Sonny, because on In Your Head Radio, she claimed that TNA refused to pay for Chris Candido's surgery or funeral, and even refused to give her his last paycheck to help pay for the expenses. Allegedly.
I mean, I shouldn't laugh. They gave her a ham. You know?
It's so fucked up. This is allegedly about the last paycheck and all this other stuff. Well, Roode is in the ring now, and he's calling out Eric Young.
But here's the thing also. And I'm not saying she's not justifiable for being upset for that. I mean, he died like 2 years ago.
I mean, I can understand why you'd be mad, though.
No, I know. But I'm just now realizing, like, oh, whoops, I just hit that. It's been like 2 years.
It is kind of crazy how long it's been, yeah.
And then here's another thing, and I hate like standing up for like corporate because like I'm not that type of guy. I understand the injury happened in TNA ring, but he shouldn't have flown.
Right. So,
I mean, are they at fault for that? I don't know. He shouldn't have flown.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. Well, Roode is.
But I don't think it wasn't because of that, right? He had pneumonia, though, right?
I think something came out like that. Yeah.
I think it was pneumonia.
Roode said, "Are you going to show us your friend?" And Tracy is like barely wearing that top, and those pants are falling down real fast.
And I am not going to be one to complain about this.
She's pulling them down.
Yeah, no, she is. Is that his friend?
Tracy.
It's her.
She's got handcuffs in her hand. Maybe she could whack Roode with them.
Shit. Tracy's actually been banging Eric this whole time.
You're not more important to me than my friends and family. I think he said that. My career is my reputation and my word. You want to know who the secret is?
The best.
Yeah, there's a secret. Well, you know what? He's been there for me through this thick and thin the last few months.
It's Jeremy Borash.
Most important thing. Sometimes you got to fight your own battles, no matter what the consequences.
This gonna be Borash.
Borash would be hilarious. You know what? Here's what I'm saying, Bob.
Call him Bob.
Oh, the crowd is like, holy no. Is you can fire me and take the thing that I love the most, but know this. My word will never be broken. He's so courageous.
Whoa.
He tries to leave and Roode says, "Where are you going?" He wasn't me cry there, but first things first, the name is Robert.
Doesn't he? He ends up going by Bobby again, though. Right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Okay. So he's not.
And then he goes back to Robert. Doesn't he? He's in WWE. Does okay. I couldn't remember what he switched back again. No, I think you're right.
Glorious.
I think you're right.
Oh, Bobby. Is it Bobby?
Oh, he grabbed him by the neck throat. Who is your friend?
I don't know.
Oh, he slapped the shit out of him.
He's not even on the show.
Who's your friend?
Oh.
It's definitely Bobby when you tweeted to Hulk Hogan about him.
It's absolutely Bobby when I tweeted, yes. Yeah, that I know for sure.
I guess I don't think he does go back to Robert in TNA.
But does he go by Robert in WWE?
I don't know.
Robert Roode or Bobby Roode? I don't know.
It's so close. I'd have to look it up. And I got to see who the friend is before I do any of that. Oh, shit. Eric Young just hit Robert Roode.
Oh, that's a moment.
We've been waiting for that. Crowd's going pretty nuts.
Oh, he's still doing it. I thought it was going to be one and done. No, he's fucking pissed.
Here comes Tracy, though.
Tracy
breaks the back.
Fucking clothes.
Oh, kicking the gut.
Shit. Oh, my God. No. Is she? Oh, my God. He just border tossed her. What the fuck? He put his hands on her boobs, too, by the way.
It was a power bomb, but he chucked her.
He chucked her. He fucking chucked her.
Dude, the crowd is loving this right now. Oh, low blow by Tracy. Ms. Brooks, excuse me.
Ms. Brooks, right. How dare us. Dude, I can't believe he fucking chucked her like that.
That was wild.
I'm kind of bummed that she recovered a low blow because I feel like I would have probably sold that a little longer. But
it was just enough for the low blow because if you notice,
it's only
she's still
a 40-minute wrestling show, so I guess you gotta.
Yeah. Can't milk it too much.
No.
Crowd is chanting for Eric. Roode has a chair now, and then boom, he did not cover his head.
No. I think it's. I haven't looked it up yet. I'm pretty sure it's Bobby Roode in WWE.
I think you're right.
Because I'm trying to picture I knew he'd do a blade job. Eric Young is busted open as expected.
Wait. I'm just realizing something, Bob.
What?
I think they filmed this before the first match. I think it's Eric Young's blood on the mat, not Abyss.
Oh shit.
Because look where
where it's placed. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
That's kind of I like that we just figured that out.
Good call.
Tell me the friend I'm going to scramble your friends.
Some friend that Eric has that he just got demolished with a chair shot and he's bleeding right now. And the friend hasn't came out. Some friend.
1, 2, 3. Oh! Could it be? No way. Bob, it is. It's Double J. Jeff Jarrett coming down for the save.
He fucking waited so
Swings
long.
the chair, low blow. Shot Roode up in the air. Now Eric Young is handcuffed and bloodied.
I mean, I don't know if Jeff is really getting that big of a pop as a babyface right now.
Well, that's funny that you say that, Bob.
Even in Orlando.
Although there was slight disappointment in Jarrett's pop when he came out for the first interview at the tapings, that was last episode. Right. It was more than made up for when he showed up to save Eric Young, and when he, well, I don't want to say the next part because I almost just spoiled what's about to happen. I almost just spoiled
What is he going to do? He's going to spank her, isn't he?
Well, he grabbed Miss Brooks, stopped her from doing a low blow. The crowd is going nuts, dude.
Now they are because he's going to hit a woman, which was his best character fucking portrayal in '99 when he was.
He's grabbed the guitar. He's grabbed the guitar.
He's not going to smash her with it. Is he? No, he's not.
He pushed her off. No,
Yeah,
we're good.
She didn't turn around.
Guitar shot on Ms. Brooks. That's what I almost just said. I almost spoiled that.
Okay, so the pop for that, is that more of a sign that Tracy is over as a heel?
You could definitely argue that, huh?
I'm thinking that might be what it is.
Wow, interesting pivot here with Jarrett. LAX sitting ringside here. Conan on commentary and Homicide and Hernandez standing behind them. 51-50. Never saw that coming. If you think about it, think back.
There it is. Yeah. Boom. The fans did like that. All right, so that's what it took. It took for Jeff to embrace his woman-beating persona from 1999, and now the fans love him.
Right.
Although they hated him when he did it.
Up next, NWA tag team title match.
I am not looking forward to this one.
Well, I have a couple notes that'll keep you busy, at least during the match. And that'll pretty much wrap us up for notes for this episode, I think. Steiner, you had one sentence and it already pissed me off.
Well, here, I might as well, since we know it's the Team 3D, I'll just do their indie notes. And Scott Steiner for that matter.
Wait, can we listen to the Scott Steiner interview first?
Yeah, fine.
He's stumbling over his words. He's swearing. Tomko's laughing. He's too stupid to read. Me and my brother, we beat everyone there was to beat. You gotta dot your T's and cross your I's.
What the fuck?
That was awesome. Look, and Tomko, he just said, did you say to dot your T's and cross your I's? That's awesome. Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Scott Steiner's a smart guy. All right, Team 3D. On April 20th, they retained the NWA Tag Team Championships by defeating the teams. It was a four-way. The teams of the Old School Empire, which was Damian Wayne and Preston Quinn, the team of Phil Brown and Prince Malik, and the teams of Scotty Blaze and Scotty Rocker. Now, if you don't know who any of those three teams are, well, that's probably the point, because they're all local Virginia teams. On April 21st, in a Falls Count Anywhere street fight, non-title match, Team 3D defeated the Extreme Horsemen, which was C.W. Anderson and Steve Corino. That was in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And then Scott Steiner was also on those UWF shows. On the April 20th one, Scott Steiner defeated C.W. Anderson in Prince George, Virginia. And on April 21st, this is an interesting match. Scott Steiner won a three-way when he defeated Goldust and Maven. And that's your notes for the match.
Very interesting. But here are the TNA Grand Slam Tag Team Champions, Brother Ray, Brother Devon, Team 3D. I have some notes for you. Let's start off with that Steiner's attitude and mood has been more positive now than at any time anyone can remember. Now, Dave says we don't know a reason, but the timing seems to coincide with his appearing on the big show in Mexico. He got such a ridiculously big heel reaction, it probably did wonders for him as a performer. Now, there was discussion the day of the pay-per-view as Steiner was telling people that he was going to bring the Frankensteiner out of retirement. As far as he could recall, it was the first time that he had done the move since 1997.
I don't think that's right.
That's what Steiner was telling people. He couldn't remember a time when he did it sooner.
I'm pretty sure. I want to say, I thought he did it in 99.
Well, he's
you
not
said
sure.
97?
That's what he says. Tomko and Brother Devon going.
Well, right, but I'm saying you read.
Yes, yeah, I know. I'm just reiterating.
I'm gonna look it up. For some reason, I could have sworn that he
Double
did,
flapjack to Tomko.
He had a match with Meng, and I thought that he did.
Only Bob would remember the match with Meng that he hit the Frankensteiner around.
Okay, well,
The fuck.
what is that supposed to be? Okay,
by the way, if you're following along,
I'm right. It's not against Meng.
you are? Oh.
It's on. I don't mean to keep on cutting you off, but it's on at least the April. Show is this? Jesus Christ! What April something? April 12th against DDP.
Really?
April 12th, 1999 on a Nitro. He
Well, there we
hit
go.
the Frankensteiner. Right? He
Okay.
definitely does. He hit it? He hits.
Don't
it.
ask me.
Yeah. Scott Frankensteiner's DDP off the top without killing him. That's what the guy wrote.
Well, that's perfect. That must be the last time, that 99.
But he said 97.
That's what he's telling people.
And he's
apparently.
wrong.
Well, he's gotten concussed up to 2 times probably.
He's a
Oh my god. He just did the freaking Bubba Bomb. I got some other good news for you.
I wonder if he did it in fucking 2000. He might have done it in 2000 against Booker T.
Oh, Hector Guerrero here. Interesting.
Is this
Not electrocuted.
Sleaze. Is he being a sleaze bag? What the hell is that?
Starting with Sacrifice.
Did he sell Austin Star a timeshare?
He does look like he's gonna.
He's
sell
like
you
a
timeshare.
shady salesman right now. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Hey, you want a Rolex? Well, it ain't one.
They're in
But
my jacket.
I'll tell you they are.
Oh my god. Okay, starting with Sacrifice, TNA pay-per-view shows will air live in Australia. There's a big movement to get the shows into international markets since WWE does 40% of its pay-per-view buys outside North America, and TNA can simply grow the number of homes with access and do similar results. Similar growth can get them from 30,000 mark to the 50,000 mark, which is worth $2.5 million per year with limited added cost.
Wait a minute. So they're gonna have the show live
in Australia,
like Impact Live?
No, the pay-per-view shows.
Oh, pay-per-view.
Starting with Sacrifice.
Okay. So now with that logic, because we're doing like 25, anywhere between 25 and 40,000. So with that logic, they should be getting more than that, right?
Ideally.
Okay.
I'm looking up 8 p.m. Eastern time in Australian. So they're going to be airing. Well, hold on. Sunday. Hold on. Okay, so 8 p.m. If the pay-per-view starts at 8 p.m.,
yeah,
it's going to be airing at 10 a.m. technically the next day in Australia.
That's on Monday morning. I'm
pretty sure. Yeah. Because 8 p.m. on a Wednesday is 10 a.m. on a Thursday. So they're airing Mondays at 10 a.m.
What in the world did I just watch? So Hernandez pulled down the top rope. Tomko fell to the floor. And then Team 3D hit their like back suplex neck breaker combo, which is not the 3D. Right. Which the fans sometimes think it is. It's not. And then they pinned them.
So did LAX just purposely screw Tomko and Steiner because they want
to
fight
Team 3D?
by
the fight right now, they're taking it as that.
Tomko clotheslines Hernandez out. Steiner tosses Homicide out.
Well, of course, then Scott Steiner gets his music playing. He's the big star. Okay, so we're just. I think that means a 3-team feud. Oh, look at that Paparazzi.
Paparazzi Productions. Here we go. Shelly here talking. This guy walks 3 to 4 miles every day to the TV tapings, and I can take
Bob.
Yeah, I think it's Bob Backlund. Yeah.
Yes.
I bet I could beat you in 9 seconds. You know what you should do? Ask your friend Nash if he can beat me in 9 seconds. Is that what he's saying? Retribution. No, there's a penny on the ground, and of course Backlund's going to go pick it up. Oh, there's all these pennies. He's leading him into the... What the fuck? Why is the X-Division title in here?
Is there somebody in a tree?
Oh, it was Chris Sabin.
Oh my god. What in the world?
Next week, look at We're seeing like a fight with them next week on the Paparazzi. Okay.
What was that?
Oh, Kurt might have
Okay.
sustained a concussion, but they've stabilized his neck. But we're with Christian Cage backstage.
We're fine.
Oh, was he supposed to? Right. He's like, I'm not supposed to fight Sting until Sacrifice. Now, Bob, if it is any shock to you, there is some definite hope that with all this blood and main event matches like Angle and Sting's first meeting, followed by Christian and Sting in the title match and the tag team title match, that we're hoping to see a pretty big ratings jump on this episode.
Well, so right, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know what their
That's what their hope is.
But the highest I seem to remember is what, a 1.1, 1.2.
It's something like that. It's in that range.
I mean, they're not going to get it. Like, they're not going to get a 2. Give me a break. If they get like a 1.4, it'd be pretty good. I would think. You want to probably at least get a 1.
At least.
If you don't know, now you know. All right, Christian, we get it.
Impact main event.
Now, the main event hasn't even started yet, and we have 5 minutes and 43 seconds as Sting is making his entrance. So this is not going to be a long one.
Right.
I doubt someone's getting pinned. So.
Sting coming out, no jacket, messy hair with his bat. He's like, let's go.
I feel like Christopher Daniels is going to come out.
They did specifically say any of Christian's team.
Right, just Christians.
And technically, if they hit Christian, he could screw Sting, and Christian wouldn't lose the title.
Oh, fuck.
Technically.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They would do that shit, too. They would totally do that.
Here comes Christian Cage.
Where,
NWA.
Oh my God, Sting just like popped out of nowhere on the entrance ramp.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, is their first singles meeting since the turn.
I thought they had one on TV already.
Did they? I couldn't remember for sure.
6, I thought. I want to point out that the NWA World title looks enormous. Like the strap on Christian.
Hey, you leave him alone.
His back. It was really weird. I thought they had a singles match already.
I'm double checking. No.
Are you sure?
Wait.
Wasn't it like a nightstick on a ladder or something?
It is a no contest.
Yeah.
So no, the nightstick was a 3-way. Oh. Okay, so they did. Well, what episode? Hold on, let me click it because it's on in November.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's not showing me the actual date. November 23rd, they had a match that went into a no contest.
Oh.
So this is
shoved him off the top.
This is the second time they have fought.
First time for the title.
And this one's definitely not going to end in a no contest.
I mean, it might.
Definitely could.
It probably will. It probably will.
And speaking of
the break.
Yeah, suplex on the ramp I saw.
Backbreaker.
So Bob, there was two explosion matches. Jerry Lynn defeating Havoc. That was taped before the Angle Sting match. And Chris Sabin and Shelley against Senshi and Petey Williams. That happened before this match. So they saved Sting versus Christian so that you sat and watched those explosion matches.
I don't hate that.
It's smart.
Yeah, you might as well keep them there.
And they didn't do them back to back, so they broke them up, which is probably helpful. And as we noticed, there's Eric Young's blood in the ring. So that's why there was no blood at first, because Jarrett's was taped out of order because he had to go home. It's all making sense. Yeah. Kind of fun to see that continuity stuff that you normally wouldn't even know about. I think
that's better than believing it's Abyss's blood.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Sting going for Gorilla. press slam.
And sent him to the mat. Sting, Scorpion.
You know what the difference
splash,
between a gorilla and
Stinger
military
splash.
press slam is?
A gorilla and a what?
Military press. What the
No.
difference is?
No.
So if you notice, on a gorilla, they don't do a press.
Oh,
The military
I
press,
guess.
they go up and down, and then they do it.
Is it funny that I almost was going to say the opposite?
Oh, well.
I almost was going to say, is the gorilla when they pump it? Going for the Scorpion Death Drop.
Shit.
I don't know if he quite got all of it in that, and I think that's why Christian was able to kick out.
Yeah.
My favorite Scorpion Death Drop is when Sting hits his head on the chair.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that was bad. Was that on purpose? Like, was that supposed to happen?
People think it's not, but I'm like really convinced it was that was planned.
I don't know.
Oh
shit, my God,
Angle.
Kurt.
In a neck brace? They said he might be concussed, and here he comes.
I mean, he definitely looks like he's concussed. Wait,
Oh,
who's
he
going to
just
hit?
shoved Rudy.
Oh,
Christian.
he hit Christian. And there we are.
That screws Sting. Christian keeps the title. So the same thing I just said happened, but without Christopher Daniels. It's with Angle instead.
Kurt Angle not even realizing what he's done. I think he does know what he's doing.
Oh, shit. Angle's got the bat, but Tomko and Styles were able to pull Christian away.
Crowd is not happy.
Sting grabs his bat back.
Oh!
Nails Angle in the midsection.
He just hit a guy
Throws
with
on his
concussion.
Damn. And then we just go to our Adrenaline Rush video.
Pretty quick.
Adrenaline Rush. Adrenaline Rush.
Rush.
Wow. Bob, what'd you think of that episode? That was
that show fucking flew by now.
That was 40 minutes. Are you kidding me?
That was the quickest fucking impact I don't think I've ever witnessed in my life.
Action packed, dude.
So, I mean, I'm assuming now it's going to be Sting, Kurt, and Cage then.
I mean, it's gotta be.
Right? So then guess what that means? The fucking stipulation at Lockdown meant fucking nothing because now it's just a triple threat anyway.
That's correct.
It happened on Impact, but come on, it's fucking DQ bullshit. No, bullshit. And then it looks like LAX, or excuse me, Team 3D is going to be defending. I would imagine it's LAX and Tomko and Steiner because they're a little bickering unless they try to do a number one contenders thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling.
Three-way.
I agree. I think we should just do a three-way. Yeah. Well, I agree. I like that episode. It was fast AF. So that's a thumbs up for me.
There'd be a lot of three-ways. Is every title match a three-way?
Oh, so is the X-Division. Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Sacrifice is all about three-ways.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much that's what would be kind of happening. Right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would. Well, that is going to be quite interesting. And actually, now this is like really corny. I'm looking up the poster, just the Sacrifice 2007 poster. There's 3 people on it. What?
Whoa!
It's Tomko, Christian, and Steiner, and then there's a Sacrifice logo of a blood hand, and it's Christian's face in that as well.
Christian, Tomko, and Scott Steiner are on the poster.
Yeah, it's honestly not that great of a poster.
But not a DVD. That's not the DVD cover, right?
No. The DVD cover we will not be talking about until we watch the show.
Okay, because if that was the DVD cover, that would make no sense.
No. And you know what's actually really funny? I see about the Kurt Angle show when they covered Kurt Angle calls the reaction to TNA Sacrifice 2007. The thumbnail, at least on this specific video I found, is using the real poster from like the arena instead of probably the one that everyone knows. So that's really funny.
Huh.
Interesting.
All right. Well, I would consider that a thumbs up show.
Oh, easily for me.
Even though we got 2 like world title matches that both ended with bullshit, but I mean,
you can't have everything you want, you know.
I guess not. The X-Division match was good.
Yeah. Action packed.
Yeah, Eric Young's friend segment being Jeff is interesting.
Mhm.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
No VKM, good.
There really wasn't any bullshit on that show.
No, that's why I think it flew by, because it really wasn't anything like dreadful. So I think that was pretty good. That was pretty.
Yeah.
Everything served a purpose for the most part.
I feel good about it. It was fun. Now we have 2 more episodes of Impact before we head into Sacrifice, and then Bob, then it's the push until Slammiversary. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna do King of the Mountain again.
I sure hope we do.
I mean, that's pretty much a staple. All right, well, that's gonna do it. That wraps it up. For the April 26th edition of Impact. We don't know anything for the next one, but that shouldn't stop you from joining us for the May 4th, 2007 edition of Impact. So until next week, for Dallas Gridley, I am Bob Colling Jr., and this has been the TNA Cross the Line podcast.